Good afternoon. It's 2:28 Eastern Time, and just coming in for a minute to take a look at the trading plan for today. I see where I overlooked something. So we opened in range and in value, and we did not get down to we didn't make a move lower, really. Okay, we kind of came up, and we were moving towards, as I was saying before, that in the early morning video. Let me split this out here or open it up. That the order flow was up. We were one-time framing up. That actually the 80% rule, special situation, was in effect. Is the way I see it. Okay, I don't just limit it to I'm going to throw in the early morning hour, this hour here, that we came in. We opened up a new TPOs, and the goal would be to get up to the value area high. Well, that's exactly what happened. Almost made it in the initial balance. So in C period, we turned into one-time framing. Now the idea is, okay, to get to the value area high, and based on the tempo, the market internals, and everything. So this is our situation one here. Remain in balance, rotate primarily within yesterday's range. Okay, update. We're still in yesterday's range, but there's a lot of room above the value area high and the yesterday's high of day before we ever fall into this breakout play of situation number two. I neglected two things here. One, I could have put in another story above the value area high, and I don't know that I should have, but I did fail to mention something, which I did in yesterday's video and possibly the day before, or vice versa, the day before and possibly yesterday's. And that is that as we're journeying up, there's lots of inflection points along the way. So, for example, if we get above the overnight high, and everything suggests we're going higher, which it would, because the idea now is to get to the value area high, you're looking for possibly a long against the value area high. Maybe at some point you wanted to short against it. I don't remember what it was like then. Actually, I was here for a little while, then I left because of some things going on outside the window that were noisy, so I decided to reconfigure my day, and I came back in a little while ago. And I can see that we're still sort of in the plan number one. So when C period opened up this high in B period, and we never took back much more of the initial balance in this, and broke out and made a poor high, now we're one-time framing higher, okay? And we get up to the value area high. So let's look at what happened there. So the market internals, now they've actually come off about a full point here since I started this, or started setting this up for the video. That's pretty decent. That's pretty steady. You can see steady. The tick, the moving average is above zero. The theme today is buying or short covering, whichever. Okay. All right. So, and that being the case, now we did develop some value down here, like you want to see if you're going to short the value area high. And I don't recall. Let's see where the VPOC was here. Let's just see here. I guess we should look at it and see, because that's when we made it. So I'll split off D. All right. So we're having, developing volume up here before we made the poor high, or maybe even after. But either way, we've got another volume area right here that is a new distribution. See how thin it was? It moved through here quickly. And we had a distribution right here above the overnight high. But we had the volume point of control way down here and volume here. So we're coming up to the value area high with what we want to see to go short. Now I wasn't here for this. I don't recall what happened, or how that played out as far as the market internals. But we can break it down to a 1 minute chart and look and see what happened, which I did for a few ideas here. So let me put a little 1 minute chart here. So if I can direct your attention to the left, this is C period, or B period, then C period. Coming up, this little circle would be where the short would be against the value area high. Or alternatively, you can always wait to see if it comes through it and comes back. It goes above it, comes back through it, and then short, either market or wait till it comes back against you. In this case, you probably would have had to either enter on a stop or a market order, or it had to have been a resting limit there. So now this was not a rotation all the way back to the other side of value, but nevertheless, that's 36 ticks. Now you didn't have to even make it down here. Let's just say you took it down to this little bottom of this little zone here. It's 22 ticks. That's 5.5 points. That's nice. Nice little piece of the day. Don't have to risk a whole lot. In this case, it's just risking 10 ticks. That's just arbitrary where I just happened to draw this where it looked about right. Didn't have to be that much. So now the idea would be if we hold above the value area high to get long against it. Well, this was kind of tricky. Took a while. You could have been in it, gotten stopped out, gotten in it again here. Like if you waited for it to come down. I mean, we can get too impatient. And believe me, I'm glad I wasn't here because I might have gotten chopped up in this area. Came down, came back up. Finally it held, and we took off. So this would have been a nice trade. I'm not sure that I even drew that. No, I didn't, but we can. Let's just flip this around. So let's say we risk this low right here, and we got in on one of these pullbacks, maybe sat in there for 5 minutes, or maybe a pop back above. I don't know. Either way, you got in above the value area high, okay? And your goal was to take it up to this, the open from yesterday. Well, if you got out under the open a little bit, again, this is just rough. Well, even if you take half of this, okay, that's another way to look at it. That's 44 ticks. Let's just say you took it at, sorry, I can't grab it. Let's just say you took it up to this swing high here. That's 19 ticks. Again, almost 5 points. So, there's just lots of opportunities if we wait. And then the next thing, now, I have not been in practice. I mean, I do look at the open. Obviously, I have it on the chart. This is yesterday's open. Would I have shorted this? I don't know what was going on or what the TPO was, but this is beautiful. This actually worked out kind of how I would like to see the value area thing work out. In this case, this would actually be a better place to, if you're impatient, not in this area, but to look for a long against the value area high down the road. But we're trading over here. This is a full hour, right? And then this is a new TPO. Every one of these dividing lines is a new 30-minute period. So again, I'm not trying to cherry pick or make it look like, oh, this is so easy. This is not easy. When do you get in? You get in, you're sitting there thinking, I want to buy the value area high. 1 minute goes by, 2 minutes goes by, 3 minutes goes by, it keeps coming into it, then it closes above it. Well, that might be a good place to do it, but look what happened. Now this was like 4 points, 5 points even. That would have been a nice trade. That's probably all I might have taken out of it, because look what happened. It slammed back down and came back down, and this was probably a move to like finally get everybody who was getting long against the value area high is take their stops, right? I don't know, but I just put this buy circle here. These are my little buy area. Let me make it more realistic to maybe how I trade. I probably would have been impatient and bought it right in here, and probably taken a little heat and finally gotten a few points out of it. So again, these are just some ideas. So above the open, again, I probably wouldn't have traded this. I can't really see what's on the profile there. I don't know, but I just was looking at the minute chart for what happened to the value area high, and I saw all these other things. Now, what I'm prone to do, I might have shorted this R1, but I would have been stopped out in all likelihood. Probably would not have bought this. This would have been a great trade, even if you just took it up here. That 16 ticks, 4 points. Obviously went a lot higher if somebody held into it with another position, 32 ticks, and probably higher than that. But I don't know that you'd want to hold it into, this much past the R1. Again, and then it came back down the open. Then it really took off. This is kind of a perfect, what I tell you is like, I say it all the time, a floor trader trade. I came back through. I don't want to say it's perfect. It went a lot further away than I would expect it. A lot of times I'm talking about coming through and then coming back down relatively quickly. Anyway, that just brings us up to where we are today. But this R1 is obviously very porous, right, for some reason. But the scenario that I wish I would have thought of how to, I really wish I would have mentioned, as I have in the past, that, on the underside of it, it might be a short. Above it, it might be a buy. But all these little points along the way are possibilities, So we are steadily moving up. I mean, I can see us going to the prior high day, possibly, and getting a late day spike. We got another hour and a half left, basically. So we've got a prior high day here, prior high day here. I think we got a poor high over here in this overnight. So there's a lot of fuel right here, right? It's either in this one or the one I just passed up. Yeah, got a poor high up here. I mean, there's a potential for a real big rally if we get there. Will we get there today? I don't know. This could be a case where, again, the rotation is back down to back down. We already have pretty much reached not quite, almost 100% of the initial balance. So we got a normal variation day going on. If we end up with the late spike and close on the highs, I guess it would fit the definition of a trend day, but sure doesn't have a trending feel, It seems like stealthy, like undercover short covering, which can be very powerful and hard to go against. But then again, the tempo is real slow. All right, well, I'm just kind of analyzing the day here and what happened. We really haven't come out of this story. Number one, in open range and value, we're above value now. We're sort of like moving towards this this hammer reversal in play breakout. Let's just call it breakout. The hammer was 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. But we haven't gotten near the high of the day yet, When we get up there, now we're really getting dangerous to where it might be dangerous to short that. But, take it as it comes. Again, dangerous because market internals are this way. The grind is just steady, and sometimes that's the more dangerous kind, where it's real just slow and steady. And then you get in a trade against it, and you just sit there. You sit there. And then now you're invested. You're spending emotional capital. Maybe it goes your way a bit, and then all of a sudden it comes back, and it sits there and sits there. And the next thing you know, it takes off against you, stops you out. I mean, ask me how I know, right? So, looks like number 3 and number 4, these aren't happening today. I kind of wish I would have had another, I don't know how I'd write it up, but another situation for between the value area high and the high of day, because that's quite a bit of range. I could have really broken this down into some chunks, and I didn't. So going forward, I'll try to be mindful of that. We've got some pretty big ranges here. Volume pointing controls up here at 19.25. It looks like it just doesn't seem to have that, unless somebody comes in and just either covers a bunch of shorts or pushes it up. I could really see a flush back down, rotation back down as this story plays out. This is sort of, let's look at the daily chart. Now, I made the daily chart really scrunched up because I wanted to look far back to where we were for what it was worth. Now, we didn't get down here, and don't know if anybody'd still be interested in these areas the way they were back then, but you never know. It doesn't take that long to do a little homework. We're in a trading range. We're in a balance here. We got an inside bar, and we may end up being an inside bar for today. Got this gap to close. The momentum to the downside definitely dried up for now, right? For now. It may just be balancing until it resumes the long liquidation. But there you go. Maybe so long-winded. So that's the stories for today. Kind of left out an important part, which I have mentioned in the last couple of days to redeem myself. But, there's big ranges and lots of inflection points along the way. And every one of them is a potential reversal point or launching point. Depends on how you look at it, what happens. When the daytime frame is control. And this was an important part of the conditions. Look for the daytime frame to be in control here. Mixed to neutral market. Now it did grow steadily stronger. Tempo seems to have been slow. Haven't checked the volume. I really need to be more in the habit of doing that. But the daytime frame has been in control largely, and I mean, there is some presence because of the range extension we've had, but it the way it's behaving mainly has been daytime frame in control. So that means that every one of these little visual points is a potential area for opportunity if you are patient and play it right. I'm preaching to my own self here, okay? All right, well, that's enough for today. I'm kind of getting a little long-winded. Thanks very much. Hope you had a great day.